In last year's State of the Nation address, I raised my concern with the manifestation of violence in some of the protests taking place in our country. Violent protests have taken place again around the country in the past few weeks. Also worrying is what appears to be premeditated violence, as is the case with the use of petrol bombs and other weapons during protests. The democratic government supports the right of citizens to express themselves. The right to protest peacefully and unarmed is enshrined in the Constitution. However, when protests threaten lives and property and destroy valuable infrastructure intended to serve the community, they undermine the very democracy that upholds the right to protest. The dominant narrative in the case of the protests in South Africa has been to attribute them to alleged failures of government. However, the protests are not simply the result of failures of government, but also of the success in delivering basic services. When 95% of the households have access to water, the 5% who still need to be provided for feel they cannot wait a moment longer. Success is also the breeding ground of rising expectations. Let me also add, honorable members, that any loss of life at the hands of the police in the course of dealing with the protests cannot be overlooked or condoned. Loss of life is not a small matter. We need to know what happened, why it happened. Any wrongdoing must be dealt with and corrective action must be taken. Police must act within the ambit of the law at all times. Having said this, we should also, as a society, be concerned that between 2005 and 2013, close to 800 police officers were killed. The police are protectors and are the buffer between a democratic society based on the rule of law and anarchy. As we hold the police to account, we should be careful not to end up delegitimizing them and glorify anarchy in our society. The culture of violence originated from the apartheid past. We need to conduct an introspection in our efforts to get rid of this scourge. As leaders from all walks of life, we must reflect on what we did or did not do to systematically root out the violence that surfaced in protests during the early days of our democracy. we have a collective responsibility to build a society that respects the rule of law, respects one another, and which respects life and property.
Know more about your world.
eNCA.com.